I'm visiting here today with Rich Foreman, and we're at the Impact 2018 conference. Rich, you're the founder and the CEO of Apptology.
That's correct.
So what does Apptology do?
We make mobile apps. So we actually make mobile apps for other people.
Okay.
So our clients include nonprofits, enterprise. We do a lot of work with startups. And we've actually been doing some government work. Our big project last year was for CAL FIRE.
Well, what inspired you to move into Apptology and started as a company?
Well, when the iPhone first came out, my daughter was probably about 2 years. She was about 2 years old, and I would give her my, if she was getting really fit, if she was like, full of energy, I would actually give her my phone, and there was a couple games I would give to her, and she would play with it. It would actually entertain her for about 10 minutes, and then she gets back to being antsy. And I remember I was at the playground, and I had this idea for an app, and I remember coming back, and it was called I, Mother Goose. It's basically a template where you could have a talking book, and you could tap it, and then the book would narrate for you. It took me about a year to put it together, but the idea was to have a template, and then once we developed the template, all we have to do is change the audio files and the image files, and we have a new app. And so we actually developed, once we finally developed the template, we were actually building an app. We were doing about an app a week. And the joke that I tell people is after making hundreds of dollars from this endeavor, I thought it was better to make apps for other people. And I was at a company called WebEx. I was there for pre-IPO. I love WebEx. And it got acquired by Cisco. And, in this case, usually when you get acquired, eventually some bad things happen. And about 75% of my team got laid off, and including myself. And I was sitting there, and this is during the whole economic downturn, and I could easily go back to the Bay Area and get a job. And I live here in Sacramento. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to give this entrepreneurship thing a try. And so I thought, I'm going to make apps for other people.
It's interesting that a lot of times where one door closes, another opens, sometimes involuntarily.
Right.
But the fact that you picked up and you started Apptology, were you nervous?
Yeah. I in hindsight, I think it's people go in entrepreneurship. A lot of them, it's just they're naive. I was naive. I think about what I didn't know back then. And I wish I had been an entrepreneur when I was single, so you could live in a garage, eat top ramen, and just work crazy hours. But I had 2 kids and a mortgage, so that that kind of limits you a little bit. So, and there's this fear thing. I mean, it was good thing I had a severance package from Cisco, and my company was essentially funded with credit cards, and basically my now non-existent 401k. But it's been a great journey. I've learned a lot. I've developed a pretty good reputation in the area in app development. And it's just the one thing about going from the corporate world to the entrepreneurship is being an entrepreneur is consummate. There is so many things that, when you work in the corporate world, you didn't even think about. But as an entrepreneur, you have to think about it, like accounting, hiring, raising money, then there's normal stuff to do, like the project management and the actual work.
So for Apptology, for the clients, do they find you on a website?
So I get they go to apptology.com. We also have pretty good SEO, so a lot of people find us. Okay. We have a blog that rates very high, that people find us. And I go to events like this. And like you, I actually run the Startup Grind chapter, and I feel like if you help people without expecting anything back, it's like karma. It'll come back to you.
Well, tell me about this.
So I run Startup Grind chapter. Startup Grind is an organization that started up in Silicon Valley. It has 350 chapters worldwide. And I started the local chapter here in Sacramento, where I interview entrepreneurs. And my goal is not to make money. My goal is to basically help build the startup entrepreneur innovation ecosystem. And I do this, I don't make money from it. Actually, I kind of lose a little bit of money. but my intent is just to help people and connect people. And I find that if you help people, you may not know. If you help people, just giving advice, giving your time. We do some pro bono projects for nonprofits. That somewhere you just have to believe that somehow it's going to come back to you, and you don't do it. You don't do it in anticipation of getting an immediate gratification. You do it generally to help people, but at some point it returns to you. It may happen 4 or 5 months later, or you get a call and you say, "Hey, you helped this person, and he recommended you." And the other thing too is it builds a reputation. I find that there's some entrepreneurs that are very short-sighted, and they make a quick buck at the expense of their own reputation, and they're no longer in business because in the end, your reputation is all you have. And so I find that one is if you're good to your customers, that's a good thing. But if you help people, it comes back to you.
I love that messaging there. I've been visiting here today with Rich Foreman. He is the founder and the CEO of Apptology.
Right.
Rich, thanks for being with us
Hey, thank you
today.
for having me, Alan.
Thanks.